I know this video might seem a little seedy, but stick with me here. No, don't leave! I hate that I even wrote that, I'm sorry. This is the 6th video in my World Building for Fantasy series, and I'll link the rest in a playlist up in the cards. The purpose of this video series is to give a jumping off point for beginner fantasy world builders, and to give you an idea on how world building can affect your stories. These videos are geared towards writers, especially novelists like myself. Obviously, all these details are not needed to know about your fictional plant. These are just ideas that can help you expand your world building in the different areas you're most interested in. So when creating a plant for your fantasy world, here are a few things you can think about. First is its plant family. I'm going to preface this one and pretty much all the rest of these with this. Obviously, this is not how we actually categorize plants, but for the purpose of world building, these categories will work just fine to start giving you an idea of what kind of plant you're actually making. Some ideas are fungi, trees, bushes, flowers, algae, grasses, vines, etc. Once you have a basic idea on that, it'll be easier to take ideas from real-world examples. Next, you can consider its origins. So if there's a plant that's really important to your story, you could consider if this plant is a native species, if it's invasive. It could also have been modified by people for agriculture, or it could be a completely man-made plant. You could go in some really fun directions with this. You could make the origin of the plant part of your world's world building, and make it kind of a mythology kind of thing. Next, consider its habitat. So in what areas of your world does this plant grow best? What kind of biomes does it thrive in, and does it exist in many areas of your world, or only on one continent or in one small specified area? If it has a really small area that it can grow in, this could be due to some kind of special property of the area, and it could be magical in nature or just some kind of quirk of your world. Think about how often and in what quantity it needs water. What kind of sunlight requirements does it have? Full sun, partial sun, or full shade? And in what temperatures can it survive? Is this plant an annual, meaning that it completes its life cycle in 1 year or season, or is it a perennial, meaning that it lives through multiple years and seasons and has new growth each year? Or is it something else that is different from these two that you're creating just for this world? What is this plant's life cycle like? You might take into consideration the plant's germination time and its time to maturity. What are the differences in its different life stages? Is it different colors at different stages, or is it poisonous once it's mature? Does it have a hibernation period? Do any of its properties, for example if it's used for medicinal uses, change during hibernation? How long does one plant typically live for? And is there anything people can do to help them live longer? The trees in the main region of my fantasy world were inspired by the giant redwood trees. They can live thousands of years, and because of density issues, their roots can grow just as well above ground as they can below ground. And this often creates like a really big tangle of roots and different patterns, so that it's really hard to get through these forests sometimes. Next is appearance, which to me is always the fun part. If it has leaves, what do they look like? What are their shapes and sizes? What colors and textures are on different parts of the plant? Does its appearance change throughout its life cycle or throughout the different seasons of the year? Are there any different varieties with different colors or patterns? If it fruits, what does the fruit look like? What does it taste like? What does it look like when it's just starting to grow versus when it's ripe? And lastly is uses. Are any parts of the plant poisonous to any people or animals? Do animals or people eat any part of this plant? Does it have medicinal uses, or can it be used in spells? I'm way more of a world build to fit the story I want to tell than a tell a story in a world I've already world built kind of writer. So the uses for something are usually what I come up with first. If it's something that's used for symbolic purposes or for aesthetics, then I don't usually put too much thought into these kind of things. But if that's your style, then I hope this video was at least a little bit helpful to you. I feel like plants are one of those areas where we have the most creative freedom when it comes to fantasy world building. It seems easiest to me to have that suspended disbelief when it's a plant versus something like a human or an animal. I don't know. I guess it just feels like you can do anything because, well, it's a plant. If you'd like to dive into the world of Alexia, you can check out Age of the Gods, which is a free short story I'll have linked down below. Alright, that's all I got for you, so thanks for watching. Bye!